Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. Joan served the state of California as a member on the Arts Council and on the Film Commission. She was formerly on the Architectural Commission and fulfilled 2 terms on the Fine Arts Commission for the city of Beverly Hills. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview magazine, Condé Nast Publications, and the Hearst Corporation, Joan covered the world of fashion, the mysteries of food, the excitement of theater, and the international art scene. She continues to find people who are on the cutting edge of their professions. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. We're taping at the Hollywood Museum in that fabulous historic Max Factor building on Highland Avenue in Hollywood. And I'm here today with our guest singer, Tammy Minoff, and musician, Matthew Gray. Actress, singer, writer, Tammy Minoff has been on the board since childhood. She was Lucy, a role she originated on Broadway in Neil Simon's musical, The Goodbye Girl. And she did the same, originating the role of Mary Rogers in the Will Rogers Follies. She has film and TV credits, and she's written her first play, Perennial.
That's right.
What's perennial?
What does it mean? It means it endures.
Endure, forever and ever.
Yes,
I mean, I'm
forever
like,
and
what is
ever.
Forever? Perennial. There's
Yeah.
so many meanings,
There
right?
are.
And did you think about that when you named it?
Yeah, you know, I wrote the play. I was writing the play before I came up with the title. There were several
Oh, you
titles.
were?
Yes.
But there were several ideas to choose from?
Yeah, and it just sort of came to me. Actually, you know what? I was playing a board game at someone's house, and someone said the word perennial in regards to gardening, and I thought, that's a great
perennial
title. That
flowers.
works.
Perennial
Yes.
flowers.
Yes, so that's how I came up with the title.
But that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it just sort of popped into
Sometimes
my
that
head.
works. You have been on Broadway
That's
as a
true.
child. How
That's
did you
true.
feel? I mean, a little tiny kid.
Yeah.
Was there show business in your family?
Not really. In my immediate family, not at all. They're big fans. But my father is a dentist and a hockey coach.
Oh.
So
No.
yeah, the only person in my family who was in show business was Phil Foster, if you remember him.
Oh, yes.
He was on the show Laverne and Shirley and was a big comedian but I never actually even met him. So
that was genes
yeah,
from your mother's side?
That's actually my father's
Your
side.
father's side.
Yeah,
So it's a good thing you became a dentist.
I guess so.
Or you wouldn't have been. You wouldn't have been there. But where were you born and raised?
I was born in New York City, and I grew up in Larchmont, New York, in Westchester.
So you were close to Broadway.
Very close, yes.
And how did it come through school, or was your mother always wanting to be a stage mom, or what?
My mom is the sweetest person. She's like me, except she's super sweet.
Just a minute. Stage moms aren't sweet.
No comment.
Did you deal with those mothers when you were?
Yeah, you know, I was pretty lucky. Most of the moms, the kids' moms that were very, very sweet and like second moms to me. But you know, my mom was I was an opinionated, outspoken child. This was all sort of my idea.
It was?
Yeah, at 6, I sort of decided that this is what I was going to do, and I don't know. My parents went with it. I think they're a little crazy, but they liked it.
So here you are, this little tiny person, probably like this tall,
Yeah, I was
and
small.
Tommy Toon is directing you,
Yes.
7 feet tall Tommy.
He's a tall man.
Did he get down on his knees to look at you?
No, I should have brought them these really fabulous pictures of him and I, like on stage, and I'm holding his hand, and he's.
Oh, it's so sweet. He's so sweet, isn't he?
Very supportive director. I mean, all of the people, you know, in my childhood growing up, going from theater more into film and television as an adult, but all the people from theater were so supportive, and it's part of why I, you know, came back to theater and started to write and wanted to do another play again.
You were lucky then, weren't you?
Very, very lucky.
And did you get big breaks because you got big breaks, or was it because you auditioned so well, or what?
I
really?
think I was a good auditioner, and I was pretty confident, and I worked really, really hard. I wasn't.
How old were you?
When I was on Broadway?
Yeah.
When I did the Will Rogers Follies, I was 11, and that was my first
So you were smart enough, you were old enough to be smart enough to work at something.
Yeah, and I really loved
see.
it. And
Yeah.
it was like a big family.
I
you
see.
know?
Who else did you work with? We mentioned Tommy Tune
Tommy
directing you,
Tune,
but who were you on stage with a lot?
Well, I did The Goodbye Girl, which was with Bernadette Peters and Martin Short.
Were you on stage with them?
Oh yeah, Bernadette Peters is my mom.
Oh.
So that was a dream come true because I'd always loved her as a little girl and thought she was just so talented. And
did you take anything from what you saw? Did you take the voice? Because you sing too, right?
yeah, I mean, yeah, all those people were my teachers and my mentors and like older sisters and people, and just it was like school, a different kind of school.
A different, yeah.
You know?
Actors say they originated a role and they bring their own ideas to that role, right?
I mean, there was a movie of The Goodbye Girl, so certainly
did you
there
see
was.
it?
Oh yeah, there was certainly.
That's what I wondered.
And I actually loved that movie from before I even. It was even a musical. I used to watch old movies all the time with my.
So would you take that? Did you go on the road with that at all?
We went to Chicago.
Oh, you
So,
did?
yeah, yeah.
And then, so how did you go as a child?
My mom came with me. It was for a couple months. We had tutors.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
You're in the play. You're 11 years old. Curtain is probably at 10:30 or 11, and you want to take your curtain call, don't you?
Yes.
You can't go home,
of course
can you?
not. No, it's the best part.
What do? You just stay in your dressing room, or you're working the whole time?
You know, you're working. I mean, depending on the show, with The Goodbye Girl, I mean, I was on stage. There wasn't really
Were you on
much time
stage
to
a lot?
be backstage. But in Will Rogers, I had some downtime to do homework and stuff
Did you?
like that.
When these some of the roles that you originated, some of the plays go on the road, would that person come to you and say, how did you do it? Or
Which person?
whoever plays your role that you're not in anymore. Has anyone ever done that?
You know, I had people. The Goodbye Girl closed, so no one took over that role.
So they didn't go.
Yeah, yeah. But Will Rogers, I outgrew my costumes, so.
Did you?
So, yeah, so the kids got too big, which is what happens. And, yeah, I think it was my understudy who took over. I was already friends with her, and she'd already was really involved in the show. So.
And then what do you do? Go on to another show?
Yeah, I went on to other shows, and then I went on to college, and then.
So you went to regular school? You were going to regular school? And
Oh, yes.
Going?
Oh, yes. I stayed in regular public school the whole time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Ah.
I know. It's funny. Everyone.
But it's good that you could do that.
Oh yeah. That was my after school thing, basically. This other career, you know, just after
My
school.
career. But then did you audition a lot for Broadway plays?
I did. You know, after The Goodbye Girl, I started transitioning more into film and TV, and then went to college and then moved here and focused
so then
on
you
that.
didn't go back on. Did
No.
you take singing and dancing lessons? And
I did growing up. I sort of stopped in college.
oh, you did.
So maybe one day I'll
So
get
are you
back.
singing now?
I am not singing right now. I did a musical actually 2 summers ago, here actually in Burbank, down the street from the theater where we're going to be.
And
with
what
Perennial.
was it?
It's called Fleetwood Macbeth. It was with the Troubadour Theater Company, if you know those guys. So.
I remember Fleetwood Macbeth.
Yeah, I was in it.
You were in it.
I was a witch.
So let's talk about Perennial.
Yes.
And how'd you get the cast?
The cast came together in different ways. Billy Aaron Brown, who plays Leo, is one of my best friends in real life. 10 years, but we've never worked together.
Oh, so that's good.
He's an incredible actor and very funny, and he had done some readings for me and met the director, and she loved him immediately.
Tell us who the director is.
Her name is Alexa Koblenz.
And you've worked with her before.
Yeah,
You did
we
a short
movie.
film.
Yeah, and she's an incredibly, and actually because of her sensibility in terms of doing film, there's a really big projection, video design in this play.
Oh, she has that feeling.
Oh, yeah.
So is that what you had written into it, or did she
No.
just bring it to it?
That's
She
her.
brought it to you?
Yeah, I knew that there are transitional moments in the show that are artistic, but I didn't know what they were. And we have a fabulous design team. They're off designing the show right now as we speak, and they're just I went to one meeting. I didn't understand a word they said, but
Is
it's
that right?
amazing. Yeah.
But they know your
Yeah.
work,
Yes,
right?
very
They know
well
your
in the
work,
play
and they know how to put it together.
It's
And then
beautiful.
you, as a writer, have to just go with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're really collaborative. They really wanted me involved. I didn't understand anything that was happening, so I just
But then
I
you as
handed
an
it off.
actor too.
Yes,
You
yeah.
did you write the part for yourself? Did you audition?
Yeah, I auditioned. It was a really grueling audition
Did
that I
you
made myself go through. No.
audition with Alexa? Was Alexa part of the casting?
She was a part of all the casting. I obviously I wrote and created this role with some actors. We were improvising a lot of the scenes. That's how a lot of the writing got done. And then when Alexa came on board, we got really clear about when and where and all that kind of stuff. And our producer came on board, and then we had a regular audition process and found our people.
And then where'd you find the theater? How'd you find the theater?
I had done a play there actually.
And they
a couple
liked
years
you?
ago.
They liked you?
I hope so.
And
they
so
let me come back.
They let you come back. So it's interesting the way you say it. First you wrote it, and then you worked with
Lots
people
of
that
different
you
actors,
thought,
yeah.
different actors, and then the director comes on board. And then the
She
last
had been
person...
She had been reading drafts, so.
And the last person that you mentioned is the producer.
Yeah, he was our last person.
So is that what happens?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think this is, and I don't think anything about this is very normal, which
Oh,
makes
that's what
perfect
I'm wondering.
sense.
Yeah, because if you're doing a play, you want to get it produced. Where do you start, and what do you do?
You know, this is independently produced. We had a big Kickstarter campaign.
Oh, I saw that. That was
Yeah.
great. Is that helpful?
Oh my gosh, yes. And with the support of everyone, that's why I'm so excited for everyone to see this, because so many people have been supporting us.
So all the
up until
people
then.
in this
Yeah.
Kickstarter campaign
Yes.
will come to see you because
That's
they have
the-
a part of it.
Exactly.
That's
It's
great.
really neat for me.
You have a
because
built-in audience.
We do.
So we've got our staff. What about the lighting and the music?
Oh, well, actually, the music is being done both by Alexa, our director, and
She's composing it?
it's not composing.
But
It's
she's
just
putting it together?
sound design with Wes Whitehead, who's one of the actors.
Oh, he's in it too?
He is. He's also my boyfriend.
Oh, good.
I know. That's
So
always
how'd you
makes it
do that?
interesting.
Did he have an edge to get the role?
He actually had a disadvantage. Because
A disadvantage.
Yeah, you had to be that good because that's, they say never to do that. So, no, but he's really fabulous, and I couldn't imagine anyone else playing this
Well,
part.
before we leave, just tell us
Sure.
the story because we've got
the
4
story.
people, right?
5.
Oh, we have 5. We have 2 couples.
2 couples, and then the guy who plays my best friend from high school.
I see. So what's the story?
So it's about an aspiring painter who moves to New York City to pursue her dreams of being an artist, and kind of accidentally falls in love, which wasn't part of the plan. And her love interest, Tom, has a couple who are best friends. They're married and are at that point in the relationship where things are cooling down. Is it time to maybe have a family? Is this working? And then Leo, who plays Rosemary, my best friend, we reconnect after 10 years, and he's just a wild, crazy wrench into all of these characters. And it's a play about falling in love and art, and it's funny, but it's definitely not a romantic comedy.
Oh,
it's a little darker than that. I will say.
It is a
that.
little darker.
Yeah.
What's the name of the theater?
It's the Sidewalk Studio Theater in Burbank.
Burbank.
Yeah.
And we're so happy you came to tell us about it.
Oh, this is fabulous. I hope you can come to our opening on June 1st.
I want to see it. Thank you.
I would love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And don't go away. We have another fabulous guest, Matthew Gray. Hi, welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. We're taping at the Hollywood Museum on Highland Avenue. I'm here with musician Matthew Gray, who founded the DeAngelis Vocal Ensemble in 2005. He's the director of music ministries at Mission Basilica San Juan Capistrano. What are your duties at a mission basilica?
I'm in charge of all the music that happens at the basilica, so pieces that would occur for holidays, Christmas, Easter, and so on, and then in charge of all the musicians that work at the mission.
Well, is it actually the historic mission?
Yes.
Is it part of the, what was
Campus.
it?
Yeah.
Father's
Sarah.
Sarah.
Right.
Father Sarah.
Father Sarah founded it in 1776, and we still do liturgies in the Sarah Chapel, which
Oh,
was
you
founded
do?
in 1776. And then in 1986, we built the Basilica. Seats 1,200.
Oh.
It's a beautiful, and it's a model of the Great Stone Church that's next door at the Historic Mission.
So because it's historic, do you collaborate with the other missions that Father Sarah built along the way?
Not yet, but we just received a very generous educational outreach grant, and we're going to be providing music for children in grade 4, and that will also dovetail into working with the other missions in the future.
Do the other missions have music like you do, or would you be bringing something new to them?
Most of the missions don't have a parish. We're fortunate that we have a parish that's been active there. Like if you go to the San Gabriel mission or Santa Barbara mission, they have a small community, whereas we have like 5,000 families.
Those missions are more like museums, I guess.
Almost,
right?
yes.
Is yours like that as well? Can you come and see it as a?
Oh yeah, you can visit. It's beautiful. It's known as the jewel of the missions, and it's absolutely spectacular.
Have you worked with the other missions on anything else, or
Not yet.
you're all pretty separate at this
All
time?
separate.
What else goes on in San Juan Capistrano besides the swallows still come back?
Swallows Day that we have.
You do. Tell us what that is.
Basically, the swallows depart to South America, and then they come back every March 19th. And so it's been happening for centuries.
Right on the dot.
Right on the dot. They have a few scouts that come out a few days early.
Oh, do they? So you
The
know they're going to
scouts,
come?
Absolutely. And then they appear back at the mission. St. Joseph's Day, March 19th.
Oh, that's great. So you do have a choir that's part of the mission?
Correct. I direct a mixed ensemble. It's got 50 members.
But that is not the DeAngelis.
No.
Oh, it has 50 members.
Right. The mission choir has 50. DeAngelis has 21.
How do you audition for the mission?
I sit down and have a real quick interview with them, take them through a few scales so they can sing Happy Birthday.
Is that right?
Yeah. But for the
Are they
professional
parishioners?
group, they are parishioners, yeah.
Mostly?
Mostly.
And then why did you start the DeAngelis?
Well, in Orange County, there's only 2 really large choral groups. There's the John Alexander Singers, and then there's the Pacific Chorale. And so there was a need for a smaller ensemble like DeAngelis.
And why is there a need for it?
Well, because John typically does works that are bigger because his chorus is bigger, and we can focus and concentrate on more smaller works and also more eclectic kind of cutting edge works.
Smaller works by composers you're
Correct.
talking about,
Absolutely.
not smaller works to go into a venue.
No, smaller works by a wide variety of composers.
What venues do you use for DeAngelis?
Well, our main venue is the Basilica. That's our base, but we have gone out to many places in Orange County and LA to sing also. We were just at St. Basil's in the Wilshire District for Christmas.
Oh, you were, so you bring, everybody comes up from Santa Ana, San Juan Capistrano,
Well,
neighboring.
actually, most of the group is from LA.
Is that right?
And we rehearse in LA but sing down in San Juan Capistrano.
So you do rehearse in LA. So you have like how many members? 20 something?
21.
21 members. And how did you audition them? Because they're different than a big ensemble of 50.
It's a rigorous audition.
Is it?
Yeah. They have to sight read, they have to sing solos. It's very, very competitive.
Only singers? Or do they play an instrument as well?
Most of them are professors.
Is
We
that
have
right?
professors
Who like to
at
sing?
USC, professors from the Claremont schools. And
Is that how you started singing? Or
no, I started in high school, and then
in a choral group?
in a choral group, and then decided that's what I wanted to do for a profession.
But do you play an instrument?
Piano.
Oh, you do. So that helped you. You went to the University of Illinois and Cal State Fullerton.
Correct,
Did they
correct.
have music programs at those?
That's why I went. My professor from the University of Illinois Urbana was actually at Cal State Fullerton. It's Dr. Harold Decker.
Oh, did you move to be with him, or
No,
did you
he
come
moved.
back and forth?
He moved out to California, so he was taken out of his sabbatical and taught at Cal State Fullerton.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
And you also studied Gregorian Chants.
Yes.
And that was in D.C.?
That was in Washington, D.C. at Catholic University with Dr. Ted Marier.
And how does that help you in the work that you're doing with DeAngelis?
Chant is the benchmark for all music. It kind of is how music started. So having that knowledge is really important when we're doing Renaissance pieces and so on. If you have a knowledge of chant, you get an idea of what the composer was thinking or what he was basing it on, because a lot of the songs that we do are based on chants.
What's different?
Texts.
What's different in chant?
Chant is basically 2s and 3s, if you can think that, because it's 1, 2 or 1, 2, 3, and it's always that. It never deviates, and it's always just a single line of music. And we do some chant, but mostly we're doing what's called polyphony, which is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts at the same time.
So you have 8 parts being sung by the 21 people?
Correct, correct.
How does that work?
It works well.
You have to be a scientist.
They're very proficient at what they do. They're really quite stupendous.
You travel a lot.
Yes.
And so does somebody help you do rehearsals, or?
No, I plan my travel around rehearsals. We have only 5 rehearsals.
Oh.
That's it. So 5 rehearsals and then a program. So I plan my travel around that schedule.
And do you basically use churches?
Basically.
Are the acoustics good?
The acoustics are tremendous.
And how do you get a church?
Well, we call them up and say, this is who we are. Like Kelly Garrison, who's at St. Basil's, I knew, and he has a concert series there. I call him up and say, can we do a program there?
I think you're doing something at the Lutheran Church.
We are.
And you just called them up too, or,
No.
or have you been there before?
We were there 4 years ago, and Carla Devine, who's in charge of that
right.
program, actually called us up and said, will you come be on our series? So this is our second time there.
And do you sing a cappella or with accompaniment?
A cappella.
Totally. So you don't have to you don't have to play the piano?
Nothing, no. And what you will notice when you're listening to it is that you don't miss the instruments at all.
One of the things that one of your shows was Beatles to Monteverdi and Purcell. I mean, to ancient music, to
Baroque, from the Baroque period to the Beatles.
From the Baroque period to the Beatles, B to B.
Yeah, B to B.
And what do you do?
Well,
what are they?
I like to do programs that focus on Renaissance music and then 20th century or 21st century impressions of that idiom. So I thought, why not do the same thing with the Baroque period and the Beatles? And they actually have a lot in common.
How'd you choose them? What is it? How'd you choose the songs that
well, the songs would either be
or corroborate each other, I guess.
Right, complement each other.
Complement each other.
It's 12 pieces, and they're basically pairs, 6 pairs. So we start off with a Baroque piece, and then it's followed immediately by a Beatles piece.
Oh, it is.
And then another Baroque piece.
Like what would it
and
be?
a Beatles piece. We're starting off with Hear My Prayer, which is a really famous piece by Henry Purcell.
And how does it go a little bit?
It would be hard to sing.
Is it hard to
But
sing?
the piece that, it's all about yearning and longing, and then the piece that the Beatles have that I'm doing that follows is Eleanor Rigby, which talks about loss and yearning and things too. So.
And what other combinations of songs have you done?
We are doing a madrigal by Monteverdi, which is an Italian madrigal about being so passionately in love, and that's followed by Ticket to Ride, which also talks about passion and love. We're doing a setting of the Magnificat by Schütz, which talks about, again, love and sacrifice, and that's followed by Strawberry Hills Forever.
Oh, so you really listen to the music and the lyrics.
Yes.
So you're combining the two. Is there an education role at DeAngelis? Do you educate the audience, or do they educate them? How do you do it?
It's not like your normal concert that you go to, where the conductor would come up, stand, conduct, and then leave the podium.
What do you do?
I like to talk to the audience. So we have a really comprehensive program with lots of program notes that we give out to the audience. And then
you do?
I actually talk to the audience to say and tell them, okay, this is what you need to listen for in these pieces, so that they're kind of primed to actually hear that. And it makes it, sometimes the arts can be a little threatening.
So that's great.
And this is very easy for anybody, that even if you haven't even been to a choral concert, you would like this.
And do you use a baton?
No baton, only when I have instruments, and sometimes we do.
Is that de rigueur? Is that the way?
Pretty much.
It is.
Yeah, for voices, it's always the hands, and then with instruments and voices, it's a baton.
It's the mix. Before we leave, I know you've gone on the road and you've taken, I don't know who you've taken on the road. Have you taken DeAngelis on the road?
Not yet.
But you conducted in Rome and London and Venice, and what
Yes.
were those
Well-
places? Those are so fabulous and great basilicas there.
Yes, St. Mark's actually in Venice, which is pretty stupendous.
Really? Right at St.
Rome,
Mark's?
Santa Maria Maggiore,
Couldn't get
the
better.
Lateran Church, beautiful places.
What did you conduct?
Motets, Renaissance Polyphony, Gregorian Chant.
Did they know? Did you come as a guest conductor? Is that it?
Yeah, they knew.
Oh, I
knew.
see. They said they did.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad you came today because you taught us so much.
Oh,
and
thank
I
you.
think I think that education part is so important because even when you go to the symphony at Disney Hall, when you go to the lectures before,
Yes.
and Russell Steinberg gives great lectures,
Yes.
a lot of them do, then you know what to look for.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
And thanks for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles today. Keep writing to my email, jaquinn1@aol.com. And thank you to the Hollywood Museum for having us. See you next time.